of a triangle. The reason I'm asking is I thought your dad said you had a test upcoming, and I want to make sure we cover whatever might be on it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna consider this to be the origin, and I'm gonna put something here, here, and here, and draw a triangle. Triangle A, B, C. The median is defined as going from a vertex to a midpoint in the other one. So like, for example, if we think this is the midpoint of AC, a median would be B, kind of straight down here. And then midpoint between A and B is maybe somewhere over here, and these kind of cross, and then we have one up here somewhere, and these something like that. Now the medians all intersect at a single point. And they call that the centroid. That's what your instructor is trying to lay out for you. So this point right here is the centroid. It's also called the point of concurrency. That's what the notes say. Then it goes to like how to actually find these things. So if I were to label each of these points, A is -1, -2, -3, -3, comma -2. B is 1 and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, comma 4. And then C is over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1. So the first formula you have to know is the midpoint formula. The midpoint formula is given, it's x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2 over 2, like that. So we can find the midpoint, for example, from A to B. We can find the midpoint using the ordered pairs here. It's another way of saying the average. So the midpoint is the average of the 2 points. So it's the average of the -3 and 1, and it's the average of -2 and 4. So we can bring those points down here. We got -3, comma -2, 1, comma 4, and we're just substituting them into this formula. Just a reminder, because this format is a little hard to read body language, if anything isn't clear, just let me know verbally, and I'll try to do a better job of explaining it. So the midpoint here would be -2 over 2, comma 2 over 2. This reduces to -1, comma 1. So this point up here, which kind of already looked like -1, comma 1, is in fact -1, comma 1. Will you find the midpoint between B and C for me?
Mm-hmm.
And let me know when you get that.
I got 3 and 5/2.
Yep, exactly correct. Okay. And then the last midpoint over here, it ends up being 1, comma -1/2. Okay. So that's how you find the midpoint. It looks like you have to write the equation of the line for the median. Is that kind of where you saw the notes going today?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to grab the problem that you were working on here. It's always good to kind of run through the same Same problem again. So they give you a triangle with these three vertices. Okay. You could graph it. We probably will, but to find the midpoint, like the midpoint between P and Q, okay, it's the same way we did. You can find the midpoint between Q and R. It's the same thing that we did, and then the last one would be between R and P. That there's three midpoints here. Now they want RM, and for a student, it's probably best to graph this to kind of see where it's at. So let me just get a handle on where I think we need to. So let's make my origin here. This is 0, 0. So P is at minus 5, comma 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3. There's P. Q is at 3, 7. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then R is 1, minus 3. It's down here. So this is our triangle. P, Q, and R. It wants RM. That means it's starting at RM. So M is up here somewhere. So M is the midpoint between P and Q. M is the midpoint. The midpoint between P and Q. So what I'd like you to do is find the midpoint between those two ordered pairs, please, just like you did in the previous problem.
I got negative 1, 5.
And that's pretty reasonable because that point right there looks like negative 1 comma 5. So we're trying to find the equation. Actually, I'm going to write it in a slightly different place. Negative 1 comma 5. We're trying to write the equation of the line through R that goes like that. Like that line is what we're trying to find the equation of. I didn't look ahead. Do you know if they want a certain equation of the line? If meaning, do they want point slope form, slope intercept form? Any idea?
They said any form.
Okay. So if you're gonna, whether you're gonna use point slope or slope intercept, you have to find the slope. R has ordered pair 1 comma minus 3. What is the formula for slope? Do you remember that?
Mx plus b.
That's the equation of the line and slope intercept. Y equals mx plus b. The equation for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're going to use, this is point M, so we're going to use this ordered pair and this ordered pair down here to find the slope or calculate the slope. So that's like minus 3 minus 5 over 1 minus a minus 1. That gives us minus 8 over 2, which is a slope of negative 4. Is that okay for you?
I think this is the part where I get confused.
So you know how to find slope. You've done this before.
Yeah, but I'm just not sure where the numbers come from.
Okay, so there's actually you could either choose the like negative 1 and 5 to be. You could choose. Let me write them down here because there's really There's really two options here. The way that I did it is I chose this to be x1, this to be y1, this to be x2, and this to be y2. And I'm just putting them in the formula. So for y2, I grab -3 minus y1 is 5, x2 is 1, x1 is -1. So whenever it's negative, I put it in parentheses. But let's say you wanted to do it differently. You wanted to actually start with this ordered pair and then go to this ordered pair. So this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2. It will work out the same. So y2 is 5 minus, see how y1 is negative? That has to go into parentheses. Over -1 minus, that's x2 minus 1. So this gives you 8 over -2, which still gives you -4.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just finish off this problem and then we'll do some more slope stuff. The whole reason we were finding the slope is that we wanted to write the equation of a line. My preference is to use point slope form. That's y minus y1 equals slope x minus x1. Maybe you prefer the other one. We'll use either one. Which one do you want to use? Doesn't actually matter.
Point slope.
Okay, so we have to pick a point, and the point is either M or R. Which point do you want to pick?
M.
M. So M has point -1 comma 5. That's point M. We know we have a slope of -4. And we're going to write y minus y1 equals slope x minus x1. So the next we're just substituting the values. So this is x1, -1, and then y1 is 5. So we write y minus 5 equals your slope. Your slope is -4. -4 x minus. Now because it's negative, when you substitute it, you put it into parentheses. So this becomes y minus 5 equals -4 x plus 1, and you stop here. Nothing more to do here. So more generally, what we're doing is, I didn't mention this from the beginning. I'm going to send you this PDF, a PDF of these notes, and I'm going to upload a video of the screen here so that you can have this, and it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes after the lesson for me to get that to you. What we're doing is after we find the midpoint, okay, we're simply writing an equation of a line. So I think you know how to find the midpoint, or I think you're comfortable with that. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So really what we're doing is finding the equation of the line through 2 points. And that's what you did in last year in algebra at some point. That was like a skill you learned. So let's go back and look at the same one. And let's say we want to find Q is 3 comma 7. Let's say we want to find Pn. So N is the midpoint between Q and R. So let me grab this picture again. And we're going to say that N is the midpoint between Q and R. So you said you could find the midpoint of those two. Go ahead and do that for me, please.
It would be 2, 2.
So the midpoint is at 2, comma 2. Agreed. Now, the midpoint is n. This is point n. If we go back up to our drawing, what's the other point that we're using?
P.
P. So we need to find the slope. Sorry, let me scroll. Sorry, this one limitations is we have to find the first thing you did this. The second thing you do is find the slope from P to N. So it might be good to write the ordered pairs again. And then to calculate the slope between them. So the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So go ahead and calculate that slope for me, and I'll confirm its value for you.
Is negative 1/7.
Say that one more time.
Negative 1/7.
Negative 1 over 7. Okay, let's try it out here. The if we go x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2, it becomes, slope becomes 2 minus 3 over 2 minus negative 5, put in parentheses because it's negative, negative 1 over 7. Okay, great. When we use point slope form, so this is the equation of the line. When we use point slope form, we can use either point. Which point do you want to use? There's a preference, sorry for interrupting, a preference for both positive. So like this might be preferred.
Yeah.
So we have y minus y1 equals slope x minus x1. You have the slope, you have your point. It doesn't matter that x1 and y1 was negative 5, 3 here. You can reassign it. You can say, okay, I'm using this point 2 comma 2. That's my x1 and my y1.
So it would be y minus 2 equals negative 1/7 x minus 2.
Perfect. Yeah. And you're done. You don't have to do anything else from here. Sometimes there's this like, oh, I need to do something. Let's do another example. So I'm just going to make something up. Let's say A has the ordered pair negative 3, negative 4. B has the ordered pair negative 6 comma negative 7. I want you to find the midpoint from A to B.
Would it be negative 9 over 2 and then negative 6?
So when I add the y's up, I get negative 11 over 2.
Oh, okay.
Now let's say, so that's the midpoint here. Let's say that well, it doesn't look like any of your examples are, well, I guess one is a fraction. So let me give you, let's say that point C is point 3/2, comma, -7/2. I want you to find the slope from M to C. I know it has fractions, but it's still doable. Give that a try, please.
Would it be 2/3?
Okay, I'm not sure. I was waiting for you. So you think it's 2/3? We'll write that number over here somewhere. So I'm gonna go -7/2 minus a -11/2 over 3/2 minus a -9/2. You might have this, or you might have them in the other order. So this top becomes -7/2 plus 11/2, and the bottom becomes 3/2 plus 9/2. So the top becomes 4/2, which we know is 2. The bottom becomes 12/2. We know that that's 6. So I get 1/3.
Oh, I thought the 3/2 was negative.
It looks like I got an email from you for questions like 4 through 11. We can definitely move to those after we finish this up. So I made this one a little bit more complicated, but the slope is 1/3. If you're using one of these points to write the equation of the line in point slope form, you have to pick which one you're going to use. So I'm just going to use point C, 3/2, comma, -7/2, a slope of 1/3, and we're going to write it as y minus y1 equals slope x minus x1. So y minus -7/2 equals 1/3 x minus 3/2. And we can simplify this by saying y plus 7/2 equals 1/3 x minus 3/2. So if you'd like, there's, I think, one more example from your book or class notes that we could do. There's the we do and the you do a problem. Do you want us to do either of those together
Um,
or both?
let's try the you do.
Great. I'm going to snip that in. Given triangle GHI, write an equation of the median GM. So that means it starts at G, from G, and it's going to M. So M has to be between H and I. M has to be between those. Now, if you don't believe that, we're still going to graph it just because it's worth doing here. I'm going to put my axes over here. This is 0, 0. 2, 1 is here. That's G. H is at 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I is at 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So here is your triangle. This is G, this is H, this is I. If G is the vertex that we're using, M has to be the one in between there. So you don't have to graph it, but graphing it does really help because you end up getting a better sense of where it is, but it's not mandatory. Okay, so first thing I'd like to do is find the midpoint from H to I.
It would be 4, 3.
It is 4, 3, yes. Okay. So the next thing to do is to find the slope. So the slope from G to M can you calculate that for me?
It would be 1.
Slope is 1. Slope equals 1. So now you have these 2 points, G and M. You got G and you've got M, the midpoint, and you have to write the equation in point slope form. So I want you to give that a try, please.
I did y minus 4 equals 1x minus 3.
You're just a little soft there. Y minus 3 equals 1 times x minus 4. Is that what I heard?
No. Yes. No. Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so remember, sometimes we want to put the 4 first, but that's not exactly what's needed. So let's just say you had to solve this for y. Could you do that?
Y equals x minus 1.
Yes, y equals x minus 1. Okay, great. So I think we can move on to the next set of problems you'd like to look at. If there's anything else that's unclear, let me know because we should do it now. We shouldn't wait.
No, I think I'm pretty good.
All right, let's take a look. So All right, I'm going to just pull up question number 4, and you can let me know if this is where you want to move to next, or if this is clear, or if you need me to make some explanations before we start. All right, here we go. Measure of angle R is what they're looking for. This is a triangle. Then they want you to find side length RM. Is this where you'd like to start next?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a couple of things we know about a triangle. One of the things we know is that all the angles add up to, this is like a fill in the blank. What do they add up to? Then I'm
Is
filling in the
it?
blank.
Oh,
180 degrees. So we know that 68 plus whatever this is, 68 plus 68 plus, I'm just going to write R for now, has to equal 180 degrees.
okay.
So we're solving this for R. You add these two numbers together, you get 136 plus R equals 180. Subtract 136 from both sides and you get R equals 44 degrees. So this is 44 degrees. Okay, so this has to be like super clear. This whole like adding up to 180, that's got to be super clear. The next thing is that this is a special kind of triangle. Okay, and one of the kinds of triangles is there's an equilateral triangle. Equilateral means that all sides are equal, all angles equal. This one does not have all angles equal. It has two angles equal. This is an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle has two sides equal and two angles equal. So in this case, this side of 35 is equal to this side of 35. The reason is these angles right here are called base angles, and the sides that go next to the base angles, but not the base, like this is the base even though it's at the top. Are you still able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, there's just a little weird technical thing here. I don't understand this. There we go. Okay, the base is up here at the top. So these two sides are the same. So like the more traditional isosceles would be written like this, where this is A, this is M, this is R, 68, 68, and then these two sides are the same. And this is the base down here. So RM is equal to 35 centimeters. Can we skip the odds since you have those answers and just go to the evens, or do you want to do all of them?
We can go to the even.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next one here, number 6. There won't be as many notes for the next one because it looks like it's a repeat in some ways of this. So do you see how they tell you in this picture that this side is congruent to this side? That's what those lines mean.
Yeah.
That means that this side is also 14 centimeters. The
Okay.
perimeter, the walk all the way around, is 36.6. So that 14 plus the other 14 plus some unknown length, I'll call that x, equals 36.6. I'd like you to solve for x.
Does x equal 8.6?
It sure does. So x is 8.6. And it's already written in there for you, so that's pretty helpful. This is an isosceles triangle. It's not drawn such that it looks like an isosceles triangle. I don't have the ability to rotate this. I keep looking for that feature. Um, this angle is also 72 degrees. Because these two sides are the same, these two base angles have to be the same. So that's how you know that that's 72 degrees. Again, if it's not clear, if I draw it sort of the more traditional way where this is D, this is M, and this is U, the given one is 72 degrees, and we know that this side is equal to this side. So how do we find that third angle? That third angle, that one up here, or this one right here?
Wait, you do the same thing that you
All
did for the partner.
well, all angles add up to 180.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that 72 plus 72 plus, I'm going to call it U, has to equal 180.
It would be 36.
So these two add up to 144 plus U, so U equals 36 degrees. Good. All right. So 8. So you must have gotten this textbook from someone else that's used it before.
Yeah.
I'm asking because you can see the numbers are written in there, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're not. So only consider it information. It might be good, might not be. This one says that the perimeter of this triangle is whatever it is. These two dashes again mean that these two sides are congruent to each other. That means that this side is also 2x plus 90. This side is x. So we know that if we add up all three sides, we get 555. 2x plus 90 plus 2x plus 90 plus x has to equal 555.
Okay.
So we're going to solve this by combining the x terms, the 2x, the 2x, and the x. 5x plus 180 equals 555. So if we subtract 180 from both sides, that's going to get us down to 385. Sorry, 375. Wrong number there, I think. And then x goes into 375. So x goes into 100 20 times. There's 300, so that's 60. 75 is 15, so that goes in 75 times there. But the problem is this is not what it wants. This is not the answer. Oops, not the answer. Because it wants n to b. Well, I guess it is the answer. It wants that. N to b is 75 because it is x. If it wanted n to c, what would that be? What would the other side be? I know it doesn't ask for it, but what would it be?
It would be 2x plus 90.
And x is 75.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 150 plus 90, so 240.
Yeah.
To find the measure of angle n, it is 81 degrees. It's for the same reason as before. So we can skip that part. It's also there. You just add them up, you get 180. Okay, let's move to number 10.
Okay.
Okay, so 10, okay, 10, you're at sort of a disadvantage because this has already been done. Let's see here. So you'd really want to do this. It used to be that your class, I'm sorry, your test for this came out of some problem like this, where you had to start somewhere and end somewhere. Meaning like usually you started with the letters in order, like A, then B, then C, and so on, or if they use numbers 1, then 2, then 3, and so on. So here's A. This number is correct. It is 124 degrees because A and 56 have to add up to 180. So I'll write that down here. A plus 56 has to equal 180. So A is equal to 124. To find B, it's sort of the same thing, but you could also use vertical angles. You could say that B equals 56 degrees by vertical angles because vertical angles are always congruent. So that's why it's 56. Where is C? C is down here. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are parallel lines, this one and this one. So this line right here is a transversal. This is a transversal. And what that allows you to do is say that angle B has to equal angle C because they are corresponding angles. That's why this is 56 degrees also. You could also go 56 equals 56 by alternate interior angles. There's a bunch of ways you could do that.
Okay.
Is that okay so far?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where is E? Okay, E is, or where's D? Oh, D is right there. D. This angle is congruent to E, and E. How does that come about? 38. So something I'm missing. Okay, they give you this angle down here, 66. They tell you these two are the same. Oh, and these are the same. So there's how to. So there's a big triangle here that I'm drawing right here. Do you see that? Do you see the one? I want to make sure it's pretty clear which one I'm outlining. It has these two are the same, whatever they are. So we can call it X, X, X. This one down here is also X, and they give you this one right here. So if I sort of expand it here, this is 66 degrees. This is X, and the two angles that are the same up here, they're X plus X. So that makes 2X. Is that okay how I did that, or is that?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So these have to add up to 180. So 66 plus 2X plus X has to equal 180. So 3X, combine those. When you subtract 66 from both sides, you get 114. So when you divide by 3, X ends up being 38 degrees. So that's how they came up with 38, 38, and 38. And that's a critical step here to find the rest of this. This triangle, I guess I got to switch colors here. Wait, can I do that? Can I do that with this? Doesn't look like it. Okay. This triangle is an isosceles triangle because this double line and this double line. That means that the 38 and this 38, they are equal.
Okay.
So that means these three angles have to add up to 180, which is why this is 104. 104 plus this angle here has to get you to 180 because they're straight line. That's why it's 76. Okay. If you find this angle K, that means this is also angle K. That's 76. And then you have another triangle here where these have to add up to 180. So that's how they came up with 66 for that. And then same thing here. These have to add up to 180. So that's how they came up with 76 for that.
Okay.
Not sure about N and P. We're pretty much out of time here. Let me see if I can quickly tell you how they did that. These three have to add up to 180 because they're on a straight line. So that's how they came up with it. That's 94. So that's why that's 86. And then you have these three angles to get 180 degrees in here.
Okay.
All right. So that's where we're going to stop for tonight. I'm going to send you the notes and a link to this recording so you can see it later if you want. That's it. Thanks for scheduling, and I'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Okay. Bye, Paige.